Let's talk about the present situation. Congress leaders who actually initially expressed apprehension has also contributed to the vaccine hesitancy, and today we realize that there is a chaos insofar as vaccination is concerned. Don't you think do you think that was constructive?
Do you think it was Congress' fault? We had nothing to do with it. Why did Mr. Modi and
there were questions that were raised against Covaxin, and people
there was a question because the Modi government is trying to benefit only two manufacturers. What we are saying, that in a country where we have a population of 1.3 billion, okay, in this country, if you have to vaccinate everybody, why did you allow the vaccines to be exported? First you meet the requirement of the country, and why you allow and try to benefit only two companies, the private sector companies? Why not you give the permission? Because others are...
But probably at that point of time that we did not know we'll have a spike like this, and there are other countries in the neighborhood and elsewhere needed vaccines, and so India only provided because we need we also need to provide for countries that need our help.
Just listen to me. That shows the short-sightedness of the Modi government and the casual attitude. How can you say? Because it was already declared, it was already projected that COVID will come back with a vengeance in the year 2021. It was known to the government. And how come India's ally Israel paid money and ensured that every citizen of Israel would be vaccinated before anything can be done? Why India didn't follow that? Why India, was exporting vaccines and not trying to vaccinate their own people?
But do you think we can only, because since you are so experienced and you would know, you have taken so many policy decisions in the past and you still continue to do, you're part of so many different committees in the parliament. Do you think it would be fair only to blame the government for the present situation that India is facing insofar as the COVID-19 situation is concerned?
This is not for the sake of blaming the government we are blaming, okay? But can't you see the government behaved in a very ham-handed manner? Number one, the Prime Minister himself behaved in a very irresponsible manner. The Home Minister himself behaved in a very irresponsible manner. When Dr. Manmohan Singh gave the constructive suggestion in a letter that was ridiculed by the Union Health Minister, Mr. Dr. Harshvardhan, couldn't he be taken it in right spirit? Couldn't he be? Dr. Manmohan Singh never criticized the government but pointed out the lacuna of their policy.
Well, true, I know, and a seasoned person, a seasoned politician, and a seasoned leader like Dr. Manmohan Singh would definitely want the welfare of the country and its people.
Not only that. The government of India totally failed to take measures.
But don't you think the states are responsible? So sorry, I'm just...
Listen, this is where the role of the government of India, because you have a holistic view. States will have a compartmentalized view.
All states, cutting across whether it's a BJP rule state or a Congress rule state. I'm saying we're looking at Maharashtra, sir, we're looking at Delhi, we're looking at... How about Assam, sir? Do you think Assam is in a position to handle a crisis?
What I'm saying, you are not getting it. What I'm saying, when you have an invasion of COVID, you already know it affected in European countries. There are mutants like Californian mutant, the UK mutant and all, and it was forewarned by the WHO that it might come to India, it might come to Brazil again. Brazil and all, Israel and all, they took preventive measures. India didn't. India, our leaders, our responsible who are in power, they are busy with electioneering. Now, much before that is where I'm taking. This government of India must have a holistic view. Okay?
Absolutely.
The states cannot have a holistic view. The states will have compartmentalized view. Sure. Maharashtra government will think about Maharashtra. Assam government will think about Assam. But holistic...
No, we totally agree, and the government of India must have a holistic view on this. Totally, the states have their own views. But again, the states and the government at the center must work together. This is what the Supreme Court said. While it pulled up the central government, it also said, particularly the Delhi government, that you also have a responsibility towards people and their lives. So, coming to the state, we've seen how the COVID situation was tackled here. in 2020. Not too bad. We've managed to at least tackle that situation. We must give credit to the government and everybody who's managed to actually take us through those challenging times. Presently, we seem to be okay, but the numbers are increasing, and our health minister is saying that we have this much oxygen, we have ICU beds, we have this much of vaccination. I want to ask you, sir, from your experience, do you think, God forbid, if we are to have a crisis like Delhi, do you think we have the infrastructure and the medical backup to actually withstand such a challenge?
See, I pray to God that the situation like Delhi shouldn't happen to Assam. But I want to tell you one thing. The population of Delhi is 1.2 crores. Population of Delhi. Okay? And Delhi government says that their requirement of oxygen is 700 metric ton per month. Okay? Now Assam population is 3.3 crores. And our health minister is saying that we have enough oxygen, we have about 77 to 80 metric ton, production units.
Production units.
Where is 700 metric ton oxygen? And where is 80 metric ton or 100 metric ton?
But if you put all that together?
No. I'm talking about collectively.
Collectively,
now.
okay.
I'm talking about combined production now. Because these small oxygen plants they are being put up, they are 5 metric ton, 6 metric ton.
Right.
Combined production capacity even now, today in Assam is not more than 100 metric ton.
And that will not be enough.
Obviously, see the population. Assam population 3.3 crores.
What?
Delhi population 1.2 crores. What happened to Delhi if it happens to Assam? God forbid.
How do you think we should ramp up? What's your advice to the government?
You see,
or at least the current government
the
until
situation is very bad because oxygen requirement is everywhere. So, number one, we have to take preventive measures. We have to see and we have to distribute the oxygen, distribution pattern. We have to immediately build the contingency facilities. But I want to tell you again, in Assam also, it was there. It's a second mutant. It was there in the middle of March. But this health minister.
You mean the double mutant was there in the middle of March?
Yes, of course, it was established.
Even before it was detected in Dibrugarh?
The Lahual ICMR, they say in the month of February, this is coming, it is detected in Assam. Why was the government of Assam...
Was it proven that time, but until Dibrugarh was...
Yes, of course, but it was played down by the present government. It was played down by the health minister. So much so that he ridiculed the journalists who asked him that why aren't you wearing masks? He says there's no need.
But so that's the past. Talking about the present.
Not past.
No, I'm saying that's important.
It was handled. They tried to play it down at the cost of
the sequence of events. No.
What I am basically trying to tell you, they played it down at the cost of the humanities, at the cost of human lives, and that's why we are paying for it now.
True, but I mean, again, the Congress has also campaigned. They've had their people. See, we can say this. I mean, I know from your position, you're saying okay. But there are also others. There are also your opposition that's equally saying that you've not been responsible because.
Yeah,
sure, please.
I am a layman. I may be. When the health minister of the state says, "Who's in position?" No, don't worry. We don't have COVID.
So you're saying the health minister should lead by example?
Obviously.
All right.
Prime Minister should lead by example.
Right.
When Prime Minister behaves in an irresponsible manner, what responsibility was it?
Totally on. Fair enough. So tomorrow, we are coming towards the close of the interview. Just to ask you, tomorrow, let's say after the results are out, if the Congress gets the numbers, you come to government. You must be having a plan in mind already because this is an emergency and everybody wants to give their best. So if you are in the seat of power in Dispur, what is the plan to take us through this challenge and to ensure that lives are protected in Assam?
See, first and foremost task of any government in power has to work like a warlike footing to contain the COVID situation. And for that, there is no room for complacency. You bring in the experts, you build up facilities, you involve everybody, and you involve. It should be very inclusive fight, but that is the priority for any government because this is an emergency.
That is the priority for any government.
Second priority for any government for the state of Assam, because the government that is going to inherit Now, they are going to have empty coffer, totally empty coffer. The economic situation in Assam is total bankruptcy. And from the 1st of July, this present government of Sarvananda Sonowal, they are leaving behind a huge outstandings. The loans, principal amount and the interest, the repayment of 23,000 crores. The repayment period will start from 1st of July. It is something like a Damsel's sword hanging on our head.
So we'll see if they come to power, or if the Congress comes to power, how do we tackle this? We're not denying that there are the backlogs, and the backlogs needs to be cleared. I just want to come back to some literally, let's say, personal questions about you as a politician now, just to end by asking you, when you started your career, you were the first, I believe, in your family who
Yes, I'm a first generation politician.
Because the Bordoloi surname is a legacy. So people generally tend to associate every Bordoloi with, say, let's say, the leader of Assam, who is responsible for giving us the state the way it is, Mr. Gopinath Bordoloi. But anyways, having said that, when you started your political career, even as a student leader in Cotton College and then in JNU, and then you went on to become the member of the Congress party, from then until now, did you ever think that you will be a politician, or did you have other things that you thought about and suddenly you realized that you're a politician now and you must stay on with politics forever?
Frankly speaking, when I was General Secretary of a Cotton College Students' Union, I do a lot of options open for me, because I was also academically quite doing all right. I was, So
I think you're being humble. You're doing very well, I guess.
there are many options. Many of my friends, when I went to Delhi for my higher studies, many of my friends were writing civil service exams, and many of my friends, and most of them, were actually doing precisely that. And they got into different things. But I was very clear. I decided when that time that I will not take up a job, I will not seek for any kind of competitive exams and go for administrative service or anything like this. I thought that I will go back to my state and do something. Of course, politics was at the back of my mind, frankly speaking, honestly speaking. But at the same time, I thought that at the most, if there is some aberration, I will go to academia. I will probably teach in a local college or something. And
but what interested you in politics? How did you get interested in politics?
It was a very interesting thing. Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, once I met him. When I was in Delhi studying, there were two persons I met. One is poetess Nirmal Prabha Bordoloi and Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. Both of them, when I was a student in Delhi, both of them say the similar thing. Say that if you need good governance, if you really think that your state should get uplifted, you should have good people in politics. If you leave the field to thugs and history cheaters, then you will end up getting bad government. You will end up, the state is going to go down, And then Dr. Nirmal Prabha Bordoloi told me as much, that give me a promise that because she was in a relative of mine, give me a promise that you join politics.
So that was the trigger?
No, that was the trigger. That was already won my hand. And why not? Because if you really want, without saying bookish things, but if you really want a transformation, I think we must have intelligent, well-read, good people in politics. Whether it's in opposition or whether in treasury benches.
And all of that you have in plenty in you. You are a good orator, no doubt about that. You were a young leader in the college. That's the sort of your formative years, and that takes you. So, sir, today you are in politics for so long. Are you happy, or sometimes you feel sad? You sometimes introspect, seeing the way politics sometimes unfolds in front of you, all the things that you said. Sometimes do you feel sad, or do you feel like
disappointments are part of any life, even in politics also. There are many disappointments, many insults, many, bad things. But when I look back, believe me, I have no regret. And I'm, in fact, because of the Congress party has given me a platform. And whatever I am today, because of the Congress party, because this party has given me not only platform, opportunity.
And we see you remaining with the Congress.
Yes,
for the entire time you're in politics.
I have an unwavering loyalty towards that party.
Now I'm asking this because you see today it's so easy for people to switch
I could
over.
have done it. Let me tell you one thing. In 2016, when I lost, one proposal came that I should join the BJP. I never did it. I will never do it. Okay, I will remain whatever I am. But I will always.
Well, so that's so good to hear because you don't regret being in politics.
Not
You've
at
been
all.
a loyal party person with ideology. I think this is a message that should go to all young people who want to join politics. Politics is not bad. I mean, this is the thing we have in the country. When we talk about politics, parents won't tell their children normally that no, don't go. Politics is dirty. But see,
But I always advise the young people: you must join politics.
your children. Do you advise your children?
You cannot wish away. You cannot wish away politics because the politicians control your destiny. So we should realize it sooner the better.
How do you think, sir, good, like you said, good politicians, as in politicians that are well-read, number one, which is very important, politicians that are not history sheeters, politicians that have knowledge, politicians that believe in humanity, and politicians... Rationality. How do you think such people will come to politics if the domain remains so messy and sometimes so cluttered with different things that don't look very pleasant?
No, but you'll be surprised. Increasingly, very young, intelligent, well-read, young men and women with exposure are getting into politics. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. And we will have very good times. Let me tell you one thing. For the state of Assam, I'm not saying this is not only the Congress party. The students, the young people should join politics. They can join BJP, they can join AGP, they can join Rajordol, they can join Congress. But wherever they are, they should be good people. Then only you will have a quality government. Then only you have, good governance. And the state will progress. The people will progress.
On that note, he's saying we need good people. Cutting across party lines, Mr. Bordoloi is saying that we need good people in politics, in governance. Therefore, we'll have a good society, we'll have a good state, and we will be able to become an example for the rest of the state and the rest of the country. Finally, let's ask Mr. Bordoloi this question. Where does he see himself and the party? Insofar as the party is concerned, do we see him in the state as the leader of the Congress party after tomorrow? Or does he go back to Delhi? And where are we? Only he can tell us. Please, sir.
You see, in life cycle, anybody's life cycle, there is a natural process of, progression. I have been very consistent in my politics. I have never changed sides. I have been with the Congress party through thick and thin. I have weathered a lot of troubles, a lot of problems. And today, I joined the Congress party as a student, young student. Today, I have attained a particular age and there has been a natural progression in my life. And so long I am fit and fine, the health is good with the, with the Bhagavan or Kripa. So, I am ready to take on any responsibility.
And final, sir, there's a lot of kripa on you, and let that remain. People's blessings, God's blessings, everybody, it's there. Do we see you after tomorrow, or let's say any time in the future, as the probable chief minister of the state?
I am not losing my sleep over that issue. As I said, I am ready to take on any responsibility, but that will be decided by my party and my...
But you believe you can be a good chief minister of the state?
Of course, why not? I will give my heart and soul. I will work very hard and I will take care of the interests of the state of Assam and the people of Assam.
So we've heard it from him. He will give his heart and soul, and why not? He has done that for so long. to work for the people of Assam, and if he becomes the Chief Minister, if Congress party is to win this election, or let's say in the future election, he will be with the people of the state as the leader of the people, which is most important. So on that note, thank you so much, Mr. Bordoloi, for giving us time and covering so many different issues.
Thank you. I enjoyed being with you today.
Thank you.